What is good, Tesla family? It's Ray J back with another video, and in this one I'm going to be talking about the one and only Tesla stock, what you should be looking after for the future. I'm also going to do some in-depth technical analysis and talk about the key zones for Tesla for tomorrow, for the near-term future, and give you guys my price prediction for tomorrow as well. I'm going to break down the overall market, what's happening to the sentiment of the market, what could end up happening to Tesla as well, some big pieces of news for the economy, and also what's going on with Elon Musk, as there is something very important I want to say about him. Now, before I break anything down about Elon Musk, before I talk about all the news involving Tesla and the overall market and the Fed, I do have to mention a couple of things before starting. Firstly, I'm not a financial planner. Don't take any of this as financial advice whatsoever. And also, if you guys can, please smash the like button if you want to see more videos like this. It not only benefits me, it benefits the entire Tesla community as a whole. And the last things, if you guys can, please check out the Webull link down below in the description. If you sign up for Webull, the link down below, and deposit any amount of money into the account, you're guaranteed up to 12 free stocks, each worth up to $2,000. And you could always sell these 12 free stocks for cash and use that cash to buy some Tesla shares for free. It's a limited time offer. The offer ends in just 2 days. Check it out before they run out. With that out of the way, let's get on with the video. So Tesla had a crazy day on Friday. So did the overall market. We could see Tesla did actually push up to about 302, got a big rejection off that. It ended up kind of trading sideways, and it just basically crashed all the way down to 287. We did take a big hit after what Jerome Powell ended up announcing, and I really believe he did it all intentionally. I want to actually show you guys why I feel that way. So basically, just to make this very brief, Jerome Powell spoke out. He gave a very, very important update on what's going on with the Fed, and he mentioned that they are most likely going to be ready to do whatever it takes to bring inflation down. That includes being more aggressive, and also they may be raising rates to much higher levels for a longer period of time than some people would have thought. And he said that they are going to be ready for it. So he basically warned us that there could be a lot more panic coming. The markets are not in the best of states. The data is suggesting that. But I also believe that this was an intentional move because he wants the markets to start to come down. He wanted it to happen going into the FOMC meeting, because after FOMC, we could get a nice bounce after that. At least that's what I believe is going to happen. I'm not guaranteeing that, but I think it's very likely. And with that said, this means that FOMC is on September 21st. As we approach that date, I see more downside to come for the futures, for the market, and so on and so forth. So what does this mean for Tesla going forward? The market has chosen direction. We were pretty neutral before. Now we're more fearful on the fear and greed index. This means that there's going to be panic coming in. There's going to be all this talk about the crash, this and that. So you have to be prepared for all the FUD, all the mainstream outlets that are going to be reporting this. And this will cause a big shift in the market. So we're also seeing this right here. As far as Tesla's beta goes, we could see it actually pushed up just a little bit right over here relative to SPY. And right here, we're actually seeing a very similar trend in the way these things move. You guys can see how similar they are. And that's why SPY is most likely going to push down very soon, and Tesla will most likely follow as well, in my opinion. Now, Tesla's notorious for having a higher beta. Its beta appeared to actually slow down a bit. That means it isn't as volatile as before, in my opinion, compared to like a couple of weeks ago after the split happened. That's because Tesla does have a lower price as of right now. It looks a little bit more stable, but that doesn't mean that it's not going to come down, and I still see potential downside to come for Tesla. Now, there is another catalyst I want to talk about for the markets, but I want to actually focus on the charts first before I talk about that, because it actually involves China. Now, right now for Tesla, here's what I'm essentially seeing. Tesla did come down to these levels, and I do see more potential downside. How low may Tesla go in the future? And here's where things become very interesting. Let me first pull up SPY, then I'm going to talk about Tesla just real quick. SPY is coming down. We actually dropped below the 200 EMA on the daily, and very similar to Tesla, the setup is very similar. You could see right here over a shorter period of time on the 13 EMA, it's curling to the downside. The 48 EMA is not following as fast, so we could get a 1348 EMA crossover, which is a very bearish signal on the daily, right? That could very easily happen. And it looks like the SPY is going to come down to the 300s very soon, 390, 380. I see it coming over the next few weeks. And I can also see other indications out there that we are coming down. If you look at the daily, MACD does not look that good. Bearish momentum is there. RSI is basically dropping. For Tesla on the daily, let's actually look at Tesla now. Very, very similar setup, right? You can see this correlation right over here. Tesla is starting to push down, we're actually still a little bit above the 200 EMA on the daily, and I do think we're actually going to test it very, very soon. I'm also noticing that we're getting this curl as well. It's just not as fast as SPY's. That's because Tesla's volatility kind of slowed down just a little bit compared to before. But on the MACD, looks pretty bearish. We're seeing a lot of this momentum pushing to the downside. RSI is not looking that good either. So what I'm essentially seeing in Tesla is this. I think in the near term, we're going to get a test of the 200 EMA, which will take us to 278. That's my honest opinion. As far as the levels go, here's another weird coincidence. If you use a Fibonacci retracement, right, the golden pocket, which is a very key zone, just in this perception, that's where the 278 range is, very close to the golden pocket. So I don't think it's just a coincidence. I think it's very likely we come to that range very soon on Tesla. So that's essentially what I'm seeing for the near term future. Now, for tomorrow, we don't have to go to 278 immediately. Here's what I think you need to watch for. So I'm going to go over support and resistance. I'm also going to talk about what I predict will happen. So overall, I'm a lot more bearish than bullish. I think the news is now spreading. People are not as confident. So tomorrow, Tesla could get a slight push into open, maybe around that 291 level, then get a big rejection after that. And I think it's going to try to push up temporarily, but it's not going to last. I'm noticing Tesla's not as volatile. It's a little bit more stable. So I don't see it dropping like 10, 15%. I'm sorry, like 10% in one day. So what I'm going to look out for is that 284 to 285 level. I want to see if it could hold that. It might not hold that in my honest opinion. I think it's going to come down even lower. And we could end up testing that 280 to 278 range very, very soon. That would be a test of the 200 EMA, which could actually act as support temporarily. So I'm hoping we actually hold it and try to push up temporarily. It depends on the market as well. So I think we make it a close very close to that. So I am anticipating Tesla closing around that 280 range, very low 280s, and actually closing pretty, maybe slightly red for the time being. Now, this is also dependent on the overall market. The overall market could make weird moves. And even if we do see a little bit of upside tomorrow, even if tomorrow somehow is a green day, I just don't see it lasting. I see a lot more downside to come. And that's where on earth this sentiment comes from. Now, as far as support and resistance levels go, if Tesla pushes up, all right, $291 a share, that's going to be resistance. If we break that, then 295. If we break that, then the 300 to 302 range will be resistance. Now, I mean, I don't see us really going back to the 302 range. That would be pretty unusual. But if we somehow did, be prepared for that, we're more likely to start coming down. And this is where things become interesting. If Tesla pushes down, I want to see 285 try to hold us. It might not even hold it too well, considering we are already kind of like red in the after hours and actually very close to it as of right now. But I am recording this quite a bit of time before the market closes, so it doesn't matter as much. If we break below 285, this thing could actually start to drop to that 280 to 278 range. We're going to test the 200 EMA on the daily. If that doesn't hold us, and that's actually very close to where the golden pocket happens to be, I want to see it hold us. It should hold us well unless the market is just not doing well. Then we could come even lower. And the next zone to watch would be 270. All right. If 278 doesn't hold, then 270 is next. If that doesn't hold, then we have 259. And on TradingView, I noticed that there happens to be a gap right over there around 259, which is why I highlighted this. This could be a gap fill area, but that would be a very big drop for Tesla's end. So I don't really see it dropping that hard in like one day, but I just want to prepare you guys for that zone. Now, with that said, I basically gave you guys, right here, I gave you guys my prediction right over here. I do anticipate a move kind of like this, but I can't promise this is going to happen, right? Anything could happen in the markets. I just think downside is much more likely. Now, as far as other pieces of news goes, there are other things I want to talk about that are very important. The Fed is artificially trying to get the market to drop based off what Powell was saying. And I do think that this was set to happen. But what's weird about the market is interpretation. There were many instances where we had good news and the market responded very negatively, and then bad news came and the market just rallied. So the market's very weird. It's very unusual sometimes. And that's why I wanted to talk about this right here. So something very big going on in the world is the property crisis in China. Just to make this short and simple, basically there was extremely high demand for housing in China to the point where there was even a lottery system where people could just be chosen to be the ones to be able to buy a house. What happened was the demand was so high to a point where the real estate developers could not keep up with it. So they basically created this pyramid scheme where they would take new investments in pre-sales and they would use it to essentially fund building old properties that were actually supposed to be built a long time ago. So they couldn't really keep up to the point where they actually entered bankruptcy. And this hurt a lot of big businesses in America that were investing in these developers like Evergrande. So as a result, the banking industry in China is taking a hit. There's a lot of loss in trust in the banks over there. And they actually did not have money to help hundreds of thousands of people withdraw their money because they were in a very, very dire state and simultaneously trying to withdraw their funds. So the banking industry is getting hit. The property developments are just getting destroyed over there. There's a big crisis. And their economy is going to take a big hit because real estate makes up like a third of their economy or something like that. So, with that said, this could end up affecting the US if things really do escalate, which they really could. But the biggest thing this could have is, in my opinion, it could actually affect imports and also affect, in my opinion, our debt. So China does owe the US money. They can default on that debt and really hurt investors in a sense. It is something to really keep in our minds. China is also having these big heat waves leading to some lockdowns and maybe slowing down some production for different factories. Tesla, as of right now, has not been affected by that much from what I found in Shanghai, but it is something to keep in our minds, guys. Be prepared for this because we never know what's going to happen, as big pieces of news could actually come out of nowhere and affect the markets too and act as catalysts. We also have the virus as winter is coming. So that could be another catalyst. There could be more lockdowns in China. I'm not promising it, right? I just want you guys to be prepared for that in the next upcoming months. Now, for the short term, obviously we are a little bit more bearish or a lot more bearish than bullish. But for the long term, for many months, I do think we're going to get a big recovery soon within the next couple of months. And I think the market is going to get a very big rally as we approach, or maybe like at the very start of 2023. That's my honest opinion. Tesla's future is still very bright. They have lots of gigafactories coming. I think the Giga Shanghai is doing very well still, Giga Berlin as well. And I see big developments for their battery packs and so on and so forth to really push the share price up and improve their earnings, their profits, and so on and so forth. So with that said, although I am kind of bearish for Tesla for the short term, the long term is still very bright. And there's one more thing I wanted to talk about. So there have been these memes out there that Elon Musk liked, and there are all these people talking about how Elon Musk, okay, when are the bots coming out? When are you going to accept Doge? When Twitter, when full self driving? All these things people are just asking Musk over and over again, and very few people are actually asking Musk, how is your health? How are you feeling? And I think this is very important. So I want to put it out there that for Elon Musk, we appreciate the work you've done, the opportunities you helped create for many investors, not just you, but your whole team. But I'm specifically talking about him. And I want to let him know that we don't just appreciate him, but we wish him good health, physically, mentally, and emotionally, right? Mentally and emotionally, very similar. Mental health is very important, extremely important. I want Musk to be able to relax sometimes, really take breathers. I really hope that he's doing well. And I wish the best for him, especially for his health. So I want to really just put that out there. This topic does not come out there as often as it should. He has a lot of stress on his hands, but he's obviously used to it. But at the same time, it's still important for him to take care. So I wish the best for Musk, and I really want to put that out there. With that said and done, thank you all for listening. Please have an absolutely great rest of the weekend, and I will most definitely see you guys in the next video. Thank you. Tesla to the moon because the long-term future is bright, and peace out.